Hello everyone and welcome to KDH art class. Ooh, gotta get situated here. Anyways, we are going to be working on some collages. Collage is where you're taking torn pieces of paper and putting together to create your artwork. And we're going to be making these kind of rocking rodeo animals. So I've started on this one, but let's go to the very beginning on how we made these art pieces here. So you're going to need some poster board, something strong. Tag board would probably work, cardstock, something like that, something that's got a little substance to it. So I took a poster board and I cut it into 4 sections. And just taking one of those sections, you're going to fold it in half, depending if you want it long or thick. I like it a little bit thicker. Now keep in mind, poster board does not like to break very easily, so you're probably going to need the edge of your pencil to kind of smooth it down. All right. And once you have that, then you need to change it from a stationary, non-rocking piece to something that is rounded that will rock back and forth. So it's kind of neat. We don't need to go very high up, so I'm going to take my pencil. In fact, I'm going to switch to a Sharpie that you can hopefully see better. And I find about the middle of where it opens. Keep that in mind. Don't ever cut back up here, because this is what holds it all together. So in the middle of the bottom of my poster board, and then I'm going to come up a little bit. Now you notice mine is not matched up exactly. It's a little bit crooked. That's okay. We're cutting this bottom section off anyway, so it's really not that large of an issue. And that one's a little low. I might go a little bit higher. So it's about an inch. As I tell my students, kind of the tip of your finger is about an inch. You could use this part of your finger, or you could use this part of your finger, depending on how big your students are. Okay, then we need to figure out how to connect it. No, you don't want to do like a straight line. No, 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 no. You want to curve it so it touches and comes up. Of course, of all the markers I grab one that's already running out of ink. Alright, so notice I'm going back and forth and back and forth. I always like to get the curve done before I do any cutting. I'm not trying to erase and try again. I just keep going and going until I have something that looks like a little smiley face. Stop it. Excuse me, I have to keep correcting my new puppy that loves my art room. No, we're not going to chew on things down there. Oh my goodness. Maybe if I wasn't such an art hoarder. Regular scissors will work, but obviously my regular scissors are not around. So I'm just going to grab the next best thing, and these are my wire cutters. Okay, we're artists. We can make it work. We can make it work. Alright, so once I have cut that, in fact, I might have my scissors. Aha! I did find them. There we go. Down there. Perfect. So now, let's test it. Is it rocking? It is. If it is not, then you have a flat section, or you have too much of the letter V. This should be a nice smiling grin, not a ginormous V shape. All right, from there, obviously that marker is not working. What else do I have? I have this one here. All right, so the next thing I need to do is I need to figure out my animal's body. So for my longhorn, we did it a little bit more squared off, even though it's rounded. I did go a little bit shorter than the little rungs that it's on for the body. Don't worry about the head. We're just worried about the body. For this animal, I think it's going to be a little bit more rounded. And I'm going to try something on this one. Alright, the next thing I need to do is I need to give it its little base, the rockers. So when you see a rocking horse, it's on wood that's been carved into the curve. A rocking chair, also the same thing. It has that rail that it rocks on. So we need to create that. And that I'm simply going to be following my edge, trying to keep the same distance, little by little, all the way, following this curved line. Oop, got a little wide there. Close enough. Alright. Now with this one, I'm going to see if I can create it on 2 legs. I'm actually going to work on a rooster on this one. So this one, if it's a 4-legged animal, it's pretty easy. You put your leg in the front, leg in the back, and you know, when it opens up and you turn it over, you will have 4 legs. Alright, a rooster only has 2, so I'm wondering if I make the base or the foot and the leg thick enough, then will it rock and roll? Let's find out. I can also cheat. Ooh, and I could do grass or maybe even some eggs. Of course, roosters don't lay eggs. Only the hens do. But options are options. Alright, so I'm going to create kind of where the leg is coming out of the rooster. It's going to be really short. But again, I'm trying to work with what I have. I'm wondering if that's enough. Might not be, so I can make it longer. Notice I do not erase, I just go ahead and make it longer. And I think this one is also going to be longer. Now, what'd you find under my desk? What are you doing, you silly thing? Alright. And that might even be too long. Maybe I'll just bring it here. I just have to remember which one I want or don't want. Alright. So, it'll probably be something like this. Now I can start adding some of my details. Alright. I'll have a nice claw in the front and a nice little claw in the back. Alright. I know that's probably very confusing, but it'll make more sense when I do my cutting. So now I'm going to do the perimeter. So the perimeter is the outside of it. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to go along the outside, the outer perimeter. I think I might even make the leg a little bit wider just in case. I can always make it skinnier. So you see how I made it a little bit wider. And I'm following the outside. And keep in mind, this is going to be your artwork. Don't try and copy mine exactly. So, you see that? I did not cut all the way down here. No, no, no. We need that for it to stand up. So far, so good. Now I need to do the outer perimeter of this one. Okay. So remember, I'm not doing this first little section. I put my little X there. I'm going to come to my claw. And chickens, they have to scratch up the ground to get to the little worms and insects. And I believe, just looking at it, it my body is too long past my toes and it's going to fall over. Let's find out. All right, have this and this. Again, no, you do not cut the top. And I'll be darned, it works. You will be making this thicker with paper because we're going to be gluing on paper, which is going to make it stronger. All right, so I'm not too worried about the fact that my little chicken legs are working. All right, it works with just 2 legs. There we go. So now I need to make my rooster's head and my rooster's tail. Now I love recycling what I already have. Can I use this for like a rooster tail? Possibly. Well, possibly. Doesn't really look like a rooster tail yet. I would need to figure out, let's see. Part of me wants it to angle like that more. What's my rooster tail going to look like? And this is just kind of the skeleton of it. I'm going to make it extra fluffy, but I can do that in a little bit. Close my marker up. It does not dry out. Alright, with this one I do need to cut this. Now, I could just make it 1 or I can make it 2. I might make it 2. So I'm going to keep both pieces of paper together and do my little curving. Come in this way. Be careful when you're cutting. No, it always looks like I'm going to cut my own fingers off. There we go. Let it drop. So I'm going to cut on this side to the point. Then I'm going to come on this side and cut to the point and let it drop instead of trying to twist my scissors around in there. There you go. Cutting on this side and cutting on this side. So again, we're just trying to come up with kind of basics. I can even, I know, there I go again, never following my own drawing. I'm the worst tracer in the world because I have to do it my own way. There you go, give it an extra little piece instead of cutting that off. All right, I could even separate them like that, and now my rooster tail's even looking more full, which is what I want. Perfect. I can glue that on. Now, I can also take another section of my poster board and cut it in half, which is what I did with this stuff. This stuff is more like cardstock. Okay. They claim it's poster board, but oh no, this is way too thin to be poster board. They're getting cheap on us art teachers when it comes to bringing in good quality poster board. Alright, so here I have my extra piece. I could also do the tail with it if I did not have enough of this stuff behind. Alright, and that's why I gave you, half of one of these pink pieces. No, it does not have to be pink. Alright, so there's my tail. Let me set it to the side. Now I need to work on my rooster's head. Alright, and I need to figure out what he's going to be doing. Let's see, so many choices. So notice I'm starting with the body, figuring out how tall I want it. Yeah, this is kind of where the body is. That way I know what I'm drawing, where to start and finish it. And he's going to have his little rooster head. However you want your rooster to be. I don't know, maybe I'll just give him his little beak. Okay. And he's going to have his little thingy on top. Oh goodness, I don't know the terms. Maybe I'll give him a little bit more of a head going into his beak. There, now he's looking more like a rooster with the tail. Starting to see where my crazy brain is going. Goodness, I love my art brain. There's nobody else like it. All right. I might even chop this off a little bit, make it a little bit more rounded. We'll get to that later. His eye will be somewhere in there. Okay, I'm not worried about the details. I just need to cut it out. And I'm even going to cut it out a little bit bigger, so I have something to glue. So no, I'm not going to cut on this line. I'm going to cut down here. Again, because I need something to glue onto the body. I follow it around. Look at me, I do not know how to stay on lines. I want to do my own little thing. Might even make his head be a little skinnier. I don't know. Whatever I'm feeling at the moment. Makes it so hard to copy me. Alright, there we go. So we have the head. Notice I left that extra there so I can glue it on. Again, don't worry about the back. We will be covering it up. I'll be able to glue on my tail. And I even have paper left over in case I want to add a wing. Look at that. I already have the curve. It's already coming up to there. Nope. Sorry. Gotta catch my dog. She's taking my stuff. Oh, puppies. Into everything, aren't you? Alright, she's running off with another example. Stop it. You're cute. Stop it. Leave it alone. Get out of there. Alright. Back to where I was. The wing. Of course, I would want to round that up. Yeah, something like that. Again, not going on precision. Even just had some inspiration on, if I cut those little slits, I might even be able to get some neat little texture going. Uh-oh, made a fatal error. I forgot to do 2 of them at the same time, because how many wings? I'm going to need 2. Good thing I have this, as I can just trace it again. Now I have to concentrate and stay on my lines. Okay. Of course, who says that the wings have to be perfectly symmetrical? There might be a rooster out there with one wing a little bit different than the other. Okay. And again, I made those little slits so I could even, you know, make the little feathers stick out a little bit more. I love adding 3D to my artwork. Alright, so I have wings, head, and tail. Alright, at this point, you're ready to glue it together and start the next part. So I'm going to switch back to my bowl because I don't want you copying me. I want you to create your own. I know, they get so mad at me, but Miss Howard, yours is so nice. I want to do yours. And they don't understand theirs is going to be even better than mine because they're doing this at a younger age and they're just going to improve the more they practice. All right. You'll need to collect a bunch of different paper colors, and you don't need a whole lot in the beginning. Probably one piece for each color, depending on how much you need. And honestly, I don't even need that much black. I'm doing eyes, nostril, the mouth, the hoofs, and possibly even the tips of the horns. Okay? I might add a little bit here or there, so I really don't need much. Maybe a quarter of a piece of paper. I do have some dark brown. I have some medium brown. I'm going to need more of that, but trust me, I have it. Okay. Then I have this grayish color. Then I have that light tan color. Manila paper will work. The more expensive your paper is, the better this is going to last. There's some more of that gray. I even have my white. Okay, for the horns, maybe some highlights. And I started this guy in a restaurant thinking that this was my dark brown. So this was a Bob Ross moment, a happy accident. I actually got maroon on the nose and around the eye instead of the dark brown, and I love it so much better. So happy accident, there we go. All right, you will need to kind of like plan out where everything's going to be. So since my back side, I need my eye to be about here. I need my nose about there. And it doesn't have to be precise because the way this is, and that's actually a little bit longer. All right. And then what I did is I kind of gave it a spot there. And then I went around the eye. And the eyes, they can be different. You know, they could have, the spots are different. So I'm really not too worried about what's going around my eye or how it looks. Or even the nose, if you know. I will be adding the ears probably later. He looks weird without ears. And they're like, but aren't those the ears? No, that's the horns, darling. This is a longhorn. And then I'll probably be having the ears probably hanging down or something. All right, so once you have laid it out where you need everything to be, here's the body. Oh, I love it. You guys can actually see it on the screen. We added that second line so that we can add the leg. I have my hoofs down here. I could even have the tail kind of come across. You know, something like this on one side or the other. All right, so that's pretty much it. Now we get to collage. Okay. We're going to be taking the paper and teeny tiny, and I like them to go to a triangular point. I don't want it to be, I don't want a square. No squares. I want it to go to a triangular point, as skinny as possible. Tearing is best. But if you do need something like a circular eye, you could use a hole puncher, or you can cut it out. for those kind of details, I just think you're going to like the look of the tear the best. And because I'm dealing with the head, I'm dealing with small pieces. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get some larger pieces to put down first. And then make sure you layer the smaller pieces on top. So we're focusing on the tip of the nose. I'm going to take my glue. And like I said, see if I can get it to work. There we go. It's breathing. It's alive, my friends. It's alive. Okay. So this is like paper mache. I'm just using a glue bottle. So I said I was going to do like big areas. Right. And that way, make sure you have glue. Filling it in. I'm not worried about it going past my line. Mostly because I'm going to feather it. Alright, looks like those are pretty much my big pieces. Now I'm ready to start switching to my smaller ones. Make sure I cover up that pink edge. I can always trim if it's hanging off a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to be doing it that way. There we go. Okay, here we go. So I have this spot down here. Need to add more little pieces. And what I mean by feathering, it means it's going to go past that line up there to a point, and then I'm going to I'm going to do some overlapping on top. Okay. And so I'm tearing. Oh, where'd you find this? Okay, you're good with that piece. That's trash. Sorry. Staying on top of my puppy. It's like teaching my class. I'm in the middle of explaining something and then there's a distraction. And we all have to refocus. There we go. Little pieces. Little more glue. And it's going to get on your fingers. I keep saying I'm going to do a class where I put glue on kids' fingers. And they're like, can I have hand sanitizer? I need to wash my hands. No, you just need to rub, rub, rub. And what's cool is it all goes away. Now, if you have a massive amount, you're playing around. Stop playing around. And no, massive amounts are, yes, they eventually will rub off. It's just it should never be a massive amount. Alright, so like I said, putting some smaller ones on top because you want that kind of texture being created by these torn pieces. Put the little pieces on top, and you don't have to worry about it poking through. Enough glue there, and the glue will dry clear, so it's okay. And you just keep adding and adding and adding. Alright, so I pretty much have that pink there, and then I started to put the pink around the eye. Same idea. I like my eyes to have a little bit of a point. Need more paper in each direction. Should probably kind of switch those, but it's alright. I like having kind of a rounded looking piece. They kind of look like eyebrows and stuff like that. There we go. So even that right there, it's already starting to look pretty pretty artistically cool. I just happened to find a piece of like, ooh, I like that little pointy part. Let me tear it. Stick it on there so that little pointy part sticks out. That's another cool little pointy part. I can put that right there. And it's okay if the eye's a little bit big, because I can still cover it up. For my face, I was focusing on this light tan paper, kind of the manila paper. And there's my feathering. I have the brown kind of going a little bit on that, a little bit on that, and just to kind of break it up a little bit. The problem is when you're doing this in a dimly lit restaurant, you kind of miss spots. So I have to go over and add a whole nother layer on top of this stuff. But that's okay. It's going to look awesome. So here I'm going along, and like I said, time to move on to the next color. My head's a little bit bigger than the nose. I'm going to still hang on to these little pieces. So my pieces can be a little bit bigger. If I can get it to tear into a skinny little piece like that, oh, that's like gold right there. That's awesome. I could definitely be adding those little pieces. All right. So you kind of get the idea. You're just going to be adding and adding and adding. So that's the main structure part of the animal. And then I'll just be adding these on top. Now I am going to be careful that I do not glue this closed, because I need that for the support. But I can go on top like of these areas. And like I said, you can start off with big pieces. Get on there. There we go. And then let's talk, more demonstrate mode. You get the idea. It's going to start filling in. Then I can go on top with the smaller pieces, especially around the eye. Ooh, that one's got a nice little curve to it. Oh, that could go great around the eye. And I don't care if it goes onto the horns at all. I'm going to go cover those up. It's okay if they overlap. You can always cover up in the next few steps. Just remember how I said with that maroon color, I wasn't too worried because these next ones will come in. There we go. So I'm starting to go around it. And then I just keep adding and adding and adding. All right, folks, I'm going to let you go ahead and work and see what kind of creation you come up with. Good luck. Have fun. Bye.